Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Hopefully you can hear me. We're going to try and do a panel today since we've been trying to do that for a while. My internet is being super lame again. So, story of my life. But we're going to do our best here. We're going to try it. If it doesn't work and there's a super long delay, and it's all glitchy, then I'm probably going to have to end it, unfortunately, and I'll have to do these live streams, or at least the panel later at night, so when it's not so much traffic, until I can get whatever's going on with my internet fixed. So, thank you everyone for being here. Hello, Christy, Callie, Cecile. Hey, Chica. Good to see you. I did throw out a few wrenches. I know that in my opinion, they're kind of silly, but for anybody that just received a wrench, do not feel obligated to use it. You do not have to. You don't have any, you don't have to use it. So I just throw them out there to people that I trust fully. So worst case scenario, I can always take them away. But again, don't feel obligated like you have to, or feel you have to use them. So. Oh no, Chica, your little one broke her arm. That's not good. Poor thing. Hey, Mark. So we'll wait for a few more people to get here, and then I won't waste any more time, and I'll drop the link, and that way you guys won't have to hear me ramble about nothing like I usually do. Well, I guess not nothing, but you guys usually have to just hear me ramble all the time about these cases, and I really want to hear your guys' perspective on them and see where you're at as far as my theories on these true crime slash, in my opinion, fake cases, as far as those go. So, hey, Matt. Yeah, where is Swamp Lover? He likes to be fashionably late. He'll probably be lurking, and then he'll make himself known as usual. But I'm not sure. Hopefully he'll be here. And so if any of you do want to come up, and I just want you guys to know, don't worry about like getting my channel in trouble or say anything that that I wouldn't usually say. It's one thing to censor myself and have to worry about it and walk on eggshells all the time, but I'm definitely not going to censor you guys whatsoever. I'm 100% against censorship, of course, as long as it's all opinions are welcome as long as it's respectful. So again, if you come on panel, don't worry about, just say what you want to say. There are some, I guess, okay, let me take that back for a second. There's certain keywords that I would prefer you not say. So if we bring up the event in 2012 where the narrative says that several children died at that learning facility, just try to work around that. That's just one of those topics that's just highly, highly frowned upon. It's not even frowned upon. Like, you just can't even talk about that case or that event without definitely walking on eggshells with YouTube. So if you don't know what I'm referring to, I'm talking about the Mandy Book shooting. So yeah, or Randy Book. Hey, Hard Eyes. Thanks for being here. Hey, Wolfie. Yeah, so Wolfie, anything goes. There's no specific topic. We can talk about Watts or Wells, any of these true crime cases. It more than likely will probably lead into other events, like other conspiracy topics. But anyways, I know anything goes. Yeah. Hey, Sky. So again, I'll just give it a couple more minutes and then I will drop the link. I do want to try and start with maybe just one person so I don't myself get overwhelmed, and just until we can like make sure that my internet is going to keep up with everything. So, and then we'll maybe add some more people. And Gabby, yeah, we can talk about the Gabby case for sure. Yeah, and Chica, she knows way, way more about Mandy book than I do. I know, enough about it to know what's going on with it and what happened. But if anybody does have any questions about that event, Chica is the person to ask for sure. She knows a lot about it. So, oh, BitChute does have some videos on it. That's good, Chica. Yeah, so in a lot of times with these events, you guys, it makes it more difficult for me as well, not only with the censorship on YouTube, but it makes it more difficult for me to obviously show you guys other videos from other creators about, for instance, Mandy Book and these other orchestrated events, simply because they have been scrubbed from YouTube for sure, and other platforms as well. So it's difficult to find this information to pretty much back up what I'm saying for a lot of this stuff. Um, a few years ago when I first started researching these events, like Mandy Book and Las Vegas shooting and these other, again, orchestrated events that are being used to push not narratives, but multiple agendas onto the public, the censorship wasn't as bad, so there was a lot more videos and things to research to really wake people up. So that definitely is a downfall these days as far as trying to wake more people up. So if you can find any on these from other creators, that's great. So hey, Chicky Swatter, thanks for making it. So, okay, so let's go ahead. I'll drop the link if anybody's interested, and we'll go ahead and talk some true crime here. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Oh, and I just want to say too, while I'm waiting, again, if you didn't catch my last live stream, I just want to let people know that if you're not getting notifications for these live streams, make sure that you're still subscribed, because I've had several people tell me that they have been unsubscribed, especially over the last few months. And not only that, but make sure you do have that bell notification clicked, as cliche as that sounds. Yeah, just make sure that you have it clicked, and make sure that it's on all notifications and not personal, whatever that means. I still haven't figured that out, to be honest with you. But yeah, so make sure it's all notifications. And I also want to say as well that if you're leaving comments in the comment section and they're not showing up, it's not me that's deleting them. There's comments that are getting deleted by YouTube left and right, and as well as comments being unhearted. I just want to let you guys know that, again, it's not me. I would never, again, censor you guys or delete any of your comments, of course, unless it was rude or vulgar and just, you know. But yeah, so I'm not the one that's doing it. So I just want to let you guys know that. Sometimes if you guys post links, I do have the settings to where it'll go into my hold for review. folder. So that might be why your messages or your comments aren't showing up if you have links. But if you didn't put a link in the comment and it's not showing up or got deleted, again, it's not on my end, it's YouTube. So, hey, Elaine. Sophia, you can just use your phone. You don't have to show your face. You could just use a picture or no picture. And the microphone settings on your phone should be automatically set. I think. If not, someone in chat, I'm sure can help you, or I can try to help you out with that for sure. As long as you have a Google account, it should just connect you automatically. Thank you, Callie. So, well, again, I'm waiting. I have not honestly watched a lot of these live streams on the Gabby Petito case. In my opinion, it's honestly a complete circus. And I talked about this in my last live stream, that you have Dog the bounty actor that's out searching for this one guy. You have the entire FBI out searching for this one guy. And it's just all over the news. You can't look anywhere or turn anywhere without hearing about this case. And hey, Melissa. And Melissa is the only one, to be honest with you, as of now, that I watch, and she's doing a great job following this case. So, Melissa, are you a moderator yet? You are. Melissa, if you want to drop your channel link in the chat, please do. And moderators as well, if you have any channel recommendations that you want to refer to people, I trust your judgment. I trust you guys. So please feel free to drop those links. True Crime Analyst, you're now a moderator. If you want to drop your channel link as well, please do. I always want to try to support other channels, especially smaller ones. So please do so. Because I'm not the best with like giving shout outs. So, and I know it's kind of weird dropping your own link, but don't feel, just please do it. So that way I can I'm not overwhelmed here, because you guys know me. So. And I actually I don't know if you guys are familiar with who Peter Hyatt is, but he does statement analysis. So instead of body analysis, he, analyzes the words that people say. So when these parents, like the McCanns, if they're going on there, he analyzes their words instead of their actual body language. And so it's really interesting. If you haven't heard of him, I highly recommend him. Although I'm kind of disappointed in him because, it's just, to me, it's clear as day, and to some other people, that these true crime cases are not what they seem. And I just feel like he's one of those, unfortunately, people that are going along with the narrative. I can't imagine that. I don't know. I really do. I think it's fascinating what he does. But when he eventually covered, and I know that he was bugged about covering Nicole Kessinger's interview in the Chris Watts case. And when he wasn't covering it, I almost was like, appreciated him more and respected him more, because I felt like that was kind of like him saying, I know that it's not a real case, so there's really no point in me analyzing all that. That was the vibe that I got from him. And when he eventually did do it and he caved, I kind of lost, I guess, I don't know, a little respect for him. But I just can't imagine how someone who analyzes people's statements could not know that these cases are not what they seem. But I still think he does amazing work in general. But my point is I caught one of his streams and I started being typical Megan J and throwing out my opinions. I'm surprised. I don't think he even has moderators. So, but I guess I'm going for a record for being banned from the most true crime channels. But if you guys haven't seen his analysis on the McCains, on Madeline's parents, it's like it gets with Richard Dolan, and it's really, really interesting. It's a great video, so I do recommend that. Yeah, Chica, definitely, I agree. And I the 98% of them is, it could might even be 99%. Maybe that's a little high, but in pretty much oh, Richard Hall. Okay, thank you, Matt. So any of these high profile, and you guys, it's going to sound really repetitive, but these these events, these tragic events specifically, and these true crime cases and these missing persons cases, where there's only certain ones that get so much mainstream media attention, when there's so many people that are murdered every single day. There's so many people that go missing all the time, children that go missing all the time. So why is it that there's only certain cases that get so much attention? Um, and I mean, a perfect example is the Watts case, but also this Gabby Petito case. I mean, you're talking about, um, any death is sad. So even if, let's just say this, I'm going to go there and say that if the Gabby Petito case was indeed real, right? If this actually happened, if she actually died, um, why is her death so much more important than anyone else's death? And why is there so much mainstream attention by it? So that's what people really need to ask themselves. And the majority of people do not. They will just hear it on the mainstream media, or read it in the newspaper or whatever, or online, and 100% fully believe it. But that's literally why these, like, psyops are so successful, because if they weren't good, and if any, or if everybody knew that they were being duped, or that it was a psyop, then it wouldn't be a very successful psychological operation in the first place, if that makes sense. Hey, Autumn. Yeah, definitely, Elaine. I gotta learn how to do these comment things, but here, I'll drop the link again. If not, you guys are gonna have to hear me ramble, and I don't think you guys want to hear that for an hour, or however long this is. I'm gonna try and make these live streams shorter as well, you guys, because I know that a lot of people that watch the replays, they just don't have the time to sit through 3 hours of a live stream, and I don't blame them. So I am gonna try to keep them shorter, for sure. Yeah, that definitely hard eyes too. I agree with that. And there's definitely some that can be real. Like, for instance, I don't know like a ton about the OJ Simpson case. I never followed it. I was pretty young when it happened. So, but looking back on it now, yeah, of course, TCA, please, come up. I would love to have you on. Um, but oh, I just showed my own comment. Okay, oops. But so, like, for instance, the OJ Simpson case, that very well could be a real case. But being that he is African American and also a famous football player, the media is going to be all over it. And I think a lot of those types of events, or like even the Epstein case, it's just very blown up. And again, you can't look anywhere without hearing about it. And then all of a sudden it just like disappears out of nowhere. It's like, what happened? So um, it could definitely for sure be distraction. 100%. I agree. Okay, Chica, I would love for you to come up. I know we've been wanting to do this for how long now? If not, no big deal. I'm going to try to do these panels more often. So Hello.
Hello.
I can hear you. Yay.
Uh,
Hi.
Hi, I can hear you. Can everyone else hear me?
Hey, Jenny. I hope so. Hey, Halo.
I hope they
So
can
I
hear
think
me.
what
Can you
happened
guys?
last
Yeah.
time, I'm sorry.
No, I was just hoping they could hear me.
Hey, Marigold. Well, we'll wait and see if they can hear. But um, I think I don't know what I did last time, but I remember Mark saying and a couple other people saying that I was double streaming. So I think what happened is I scheduled it on StreamYard and in YouTube Studio. So I think that's what really made that delay, that whole issue. Um, so hopefully it's fixed today.
I think it is. And it could have been just StreamYard too. You guys, this is so funny. I look at my avatar thing and I was messing around. I didn't think I really did it because I am not tech savvy. And I literally did it. And I don't even know how I did it. I was messing around on my phone. And I thought, don't be a sheep.
Yeah, I like it.
And anyways, there it is. I actually did something. I'm pretty
Nice. Yeah.
proud.
See, yeah, I had no idea what I was doing when I first started streaming either. And I'm like, and I'm pretty tech savvy, believe it or not. But yeah, it just takes some getting used to. And I know that with
Yeah.
StreamYard there's a little bit of a delay. So I just want to let everyone in chat know that no one is talking over anyone on purpose. I know that was an issue the first time I did panels. So you just have to kind of get used to the delay thing, I guess. So
Yeah. StreamYard can be, it's kind of learning to do it is, but then afterwards, I don't know. I still mess up, Megan. So no
no, you're
worries.
doing so much better. I know at first you were trying to you were you're so cute. You're explaining what was going on the screen and we're like, we can't see it. And you're like, wait, what? But that happens to me
Oh
all
my
the time.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
um
Yes.
and I've been doing this
Anyways,
for over 2 years now. Hey Drew.
you've been doing it for
So
2 years? Wow.
thanks for coming up here. What would you like to talk about?
Well, like I've told you and everybody else, you have created a monster with me when it comes to these orchestrated events. I started digging in deep, and I'm sure you probably know this, and a lot of your subscribers know this. But did you know that Dog the Bounty Hunter? He's got his son is, or his name is Dwayne Lee Chapman. He's got another
Mm,
son, Dwayne Lee Chapman II. He's got
I didn't know
another
that.
son, Leland Blaine Chapman. He's got a son, Christopher Michael Chapman, Wesley Chapman, and
Oh my,
Nicholas Chapman. I mean,
wow,
he's
that's
got
a lot of
12
leaves.
kids, you think? And then as I started going into different things, I get excited. I mean, I shouldn't be this excited, you guys, but when you finally figure out that you actually understand some things, I get excited. Uh, that Cassie Laundry, and I'm sure you know this
Mhm.
too, but did you know she was an actress and an entrepreneur?
I didn't. Is that the sister?
Yes. Yep. Just
I didn't
Google
know
her
that.
and it'll come right up that she's an actress slash entrepreneur. Now, that's kind of weird, don't you think?
Not at all, actually. I mean, yes, it's
Well, yes.
I'm not
Yes.
surprised though. A
Yeah,
lot
it's
of these with these cases, they will have some sort of acting background. Um for sure. So, you have Shanann Watts and her supposed, right? Acting coach or teacher that was on a HLN or whatever, CNN, and of course, giving the heartfelt story that they always like to do to really pull at heartstrings. But it's likely that Shanann Watts probably had an acting or did some sort of acting prior to the event, and not only that, but she's also on social media, so that really helps to draw people in to these
yes.
psychological operation. So yeah, that's really interesting. I did not know that. I didn't look into dog that
Yeah,
much, but I mean, it just tells you right there, like Dog the Bounty actor, you know, it's like, and the majority of people will just believe it because it's Dog the Bounty Hunter. But he's literally an actor, so it
yep,
just boggles my mind sometimes. Hey, Kelly,
exactly. And
the other
speaking
Kelly
of,
with the K.
I think you remember when Gabby supposedly texted Stan to her mom, the grandpa's name. Do you
I
remember
think
the
so, like
text?
right at the beginning of the case.
Yeah, yeah. So I started looking into that, and in the Urban Dictionary, Stan stands for stalker, uh, kind of like worshiping a celebrity. Is it said stalker, and there was something else that went along with it, and then the second sentence was like worshiping a celebrity. I mean, they're
Wow.
throwing that right in our face. That they're, it's unbelievable. I mean, I know it isn't to you, but I sit here. I was even showing Jim things the last few nights, and he's just like he's shocked at everything that is being thrown at us. You know, I would never expect he would be the last person to say, well, I don't, I don't believe this. And he's like, wow, there's proof. It's right there. You just got to look for it. And
Oh
he
yeah,
knows I've been doing
100%.
a lot of different things. And then that color blue, you seems like, I think it was Joe Petito's, Gabby's favorite color was blue. And then the aunt, and Melissa may be able to, there was something that was, she lives in Blue Point, New York, or there was
Mm-hmm.
some kind of a thing in Blue Point. And I mean, there's just blue is like everywhere
Yeah, it seems
when
to
you
be
look at the
the
case
color
too.
theme for the Gabby case. They like color themes for sure and color patterns. And with the Watts, you had orange, and in orange is in numerology 33. So, and it, yeah, 100%. It's so much mockery, like straight in our faces. And again, the majority of people just have no idea. And that's the crazy part, is that it's literally right in our faces. And when you know about it, it's so easy to spot. And so I know, like what you were saying earlier or a minute ago about how you kind of like get excited, but it's almost to the point where it's just funny at times, like with all
Yep.
due respect, because it's just so obvious. And the fact that this so many people have no idea, it's just crazy. But that's why I'm hoping that the symbolism eventually, I'm hoping that it will be their downfall. You know, it's not like solid proof. I know that a lot of people don't get it. They're like, what do you mean you're a conspiracy theorist? What do you mean numerology, symbolism? But once you understand how these people operate and how they love all of those things, like the names, like the meanings behind names, and like the name Lee, and the colors, and the number patterns, and just everything is all about symbolism to them. So and again, once you're able to spot it, it's so very, very easy to do that.
It
So
is. What number does blue mean?
uh
Like orange is 33. I haven't looked into that one.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that I forgot what his name is. Someone in the chat can help me, but he covers, I don't really care for him all that much. He does the numerology on these cases. He did the Chris Watts. I played a clip of his video in one of my Watts video uploads, but I actually think he's kind of arrogant and rude, but the numerology that he does is really interesting. But again, maybe someone can put his link in the chat.
Yeah. And then you were talking about that Dr. Brent Blue, and then the blue star and the blue tie. I got to looking through him, just kind of going back. He was actually charged with a felony in 1999 for shooting at his wife's car.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and then they pushed it down to a misdemeanor, but I think it was in 2014, he tried to get his conceal to carry and they denied him. Whether he got it, I don't know. But
Really?
I mean, here we are, a doctor. And then did you guys see where he resigned from the hospital he worked at?
Just recently?
Yeah, just 3 days ago, 2000 or the 14th, I think, is when it was.
I didn't know
10/14
that.
is when he resigned. He resigned at the hospital. Yeah, because
Huh.
supposedly he was using his work computer for personal reasons. And he made a statement, and not like it wasn't a video statement, it was written down. He said it was
Right.
kind of funny because several other people that work there use the company computers for their personal stuff. And he goes, with me being a coroner, I should be able to. But yeah, he resigned.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah,
Makes you wonder
I
why
think it's
did he
amazing
really
that you're
resign?
looking into all this, because that's how you uncover like just the mockery of it all. But and if you think about it, like this might be a stretch, but I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not. But what happens when someone dies? What color do they turn?
Blue.
Right. So and that's just kind of like more of the the mockery and how they make fun of it. But also with Mandy book event, the coroner's name was Dr. Carver. And I mentioned this in the last live stream that I had. But what does a coroner or a pathologist do when they perform an autopsy? They use a carving knife, or a scalpel to cut a Y incision and open up the body. So again, it's just straight mockery. Like, what are the odds that the coroner's name is Dr. Carver? Right. And then I don't know if you remember, like in the videos, there was a lot of little things that Shanann would mention, like, oh, if Chris finds out, he's going to kill me, or I'm going to be, or over my dead body, like those kind of things. They'll throw things in there like that for more mockery, like similar to the Dr. Blue thing and whatnot. So
I was just reading the comments, and Callie Cat, I forgot all about this when they talked about Summer Wells's lips turning blue. I forgot all about that.
And then you have Enchanted Life Path, and if someone can post his link in the chat as well, that'd be great. He's doing a really good job and I can't catch one of his live streams for the life of me. I don't know what's going on, but he's covering the Summer Wells case real into depth. So if someone can drop his link, that'd be great. But
who was that, Megan? Who was that?
Enchanted Life Path.
Enchanted. Okay, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, and so I right when I started covering the Summer Wells case, I played his symbolism video on one of my live streams. I don't know if you were following me then or not.
I didn't start following you until Melissa. You were on Melissa's panel.
It was probably,
yep.
Yeah, it was probably right after that. So, or before that. Hey, Pine Mountain. But
oh yeah,
he mentions that do you remember that picture of Summer Wells where it was like trending everywhere, that all the true crime channels were showing, but it was her in the car saying, oh, this was her, the last picture taken of her before she went missing, right? Well, in the car, she's sleeping, or a lot of channel creators are trying to figure out if she was actually deceased at that point, I guess. But the point is, she was laying with her face on a milk carton. You could call it a milk jug, milk carton. It was like a gallon of milk, but the symbolism behind that is back in the day when children would go missing, their faces would be on milk cartons, right?
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, again,
wow.
It's that straight mockery right in our faces, because what are the odds that Summer Wells has her face on a milk carton and she just happens to go missing right after that picture's taken? And then you have the video of her playing in the rain, and there's the Pathfinder behind her and the barrel that says for sale. Like, so find her because she's like missing, and just for sale, maybe trying to like do some sort of symbolism for some sort of child trafficking. who really knows? These people are sick, and they literally, again, they just throw it right in our faces. It's hidden in plain sight, pretty much.
Yes.
But, and that's the thing with these cases, like I always talk about, like, once you know about the symbolism, it's a huge eye opener for sure. And again, they're so easy to spot that they are laughable and they're so ridiculous. And once you do know, it's like, I mean, with the Watts case, like you said, it affected you at the very beginning, right? Like emotionally. And
Oh my
so,
gosh. Yes, it did. It really
um,
did.
yeah, and
I
that's
cried.
absolutely terrible. Yeah. No, and there's nothing wrong with that. That just means that you're human, right? Like you have
Well,
emotions. Unlike,
I started doing Thrive and everything because of her. I thought, because I've got lupus, and I thought, well, my gosh, it helped her. It's going to help me. I mean,
I didn't know. Sorry.
yeah, I really felt like I knew her. So when you talk about it really pulls at the heartstrings, it really pulled at my heartstrings. And then once I started watching you and the American Horror Story, I got pissed at that point.
Right,
And
as
then
you
I
should.
followed you ever since, because I spent a lot of dang money on Thrive. That, it was all in my head. I thought it helped at first, but then it didn't. So it could have been in my head. Maybe it did. Anyways, but then I started following you, and everything just, you can't deny it. If you look at everything, nobody could deny what they see. I mean, there's so many coincidences, it's not going to just happen like that
Exactly. It's
with
like in this,
these
yeah.
cases.
It's like how many times can something happen to where it's not coincidental anymore? Like, or how many times can the name Lee pop up? Or how many times, and if something's not right, then it's probably, you're probably feeling that for a reason. But I'm glad that you brought up, and I think it's great that you're able to, admit that you were duped. Like that's one of the things that's a problem with
Hmm.
these events and cognitive dissonance is that people don't, one, want to know that they've been duped, and two, they don't want to admit it to anybody as well, which is understandable. But so the fact that you're able to sit up here and tell everybody that you were duped and you can admit to it, I think that's great. And
I was definitely duped.
and
But
so
you
was
know
I,
what? It
and
made
so
me
is Chica,
smarter.
and so is Jenny May. Like we're all like, everybody is as duped at one point. So all these other like RV Truth or any of these other truther channels, like they were
Hmm.
also duped at one time as well. You just have to be able to like admit it in order to go the next step and not, I mean, who wants to continue to be duped over and over again? I don't, so
Yeah.
I'd rather say, shame on them, fool me once kind of thing, right?
Yep.
um
And it does. It
but
wakes you up though, and it makes you not really. I shouldn't say smarter. It makes you look at the world in a totally different way. And yeah, there's a reason why I came to YouTube. There's a reason why I met Melissa Jade, and there was a reason that you were on that panel that night, because I have learned so much from YouTube. I think I've learned more from YouTube in the last 9 months than I have in the last 48 years, good and
that's
bad,
great.
you
Yeah.
know?
And I also want to mention too that like as far as you trying to thrive, I'm glad you said something about that as well, because that's what I've been saying. The whole reason, one of the agendas behind the Chris Watts case. And again, there's going to be several people or companies or organizations that are going to benefit financially, like a lot, from these events, right? They're not only going to just gain one thing, especially when they go out of their way to plan and orchestrate these huge events. But that one of the reasons for Shanann's Facebook account being left public was to give Thrive that free publicity. And it's, to me, I think it's, I don't want to like, you know, cheer him on or anything about it, but it was literally like a genius stunt, because I mean, who knows how many people were following Shanann before, just before the event. But if you think about it, how many people watched and have gone to her Facebook account? since the whole thing happened, like millions, right? I mean, there's several videos on YouTube that has millions of views. So many people in the true crime community that have watched her videos over and over and over again and analyzing them and watching them. Or some are analyzing them, some are watching them because they're pulled in, and that's how these operations work. But if you think about it, subconsciously, because I've had people argue and say, or leave in comments and say, why would anybody try Thrive when it's associated with a homicide case? But there's no proof that shows, even if it were real, that Thrive had any correlation to why Chris did what he did or caused him to do what he did. Nobody's looked into it that extensively. Thrive got off the hook pretty easily, right? And I think we can probably know why. But agree as to why. But you couldn't, even though it's associated with a homicide case, subconsciously people are still going to see Shanann's, like you said it helped. She's going, oh, I feel great. I cleaned the house twice today. I gave the girls a bath. I took them to school. I cooked dinner. But so when people see that and she talks about her ailments all the time, of course they're going to say, I want to try Thrive. It doesn't have anything. It doesn't matter if it has to do with a homicide case. Subconsciously, people are going to even go to the website just to check it out and see what Thrive's all about. And then they're going to see all the flashy videos on Thrive, like, oh yeah, everyone, and you have all the attractive people that are feeling great and fit. So they're going to try it, right? I mean, it's a genius publicity stunt by Thrive, in my opinion.
You are correct.
And it's all free, 100% free. And part of the deal. And you can't turn without the mainstream media mentioning that Shanann worked for Lavelle and she sold Thrive. You can't turn, like, even Nicole Kessinger mentioned it, even though she was saying that it made Chris like pass out while they were talking. It kept him up all the time. Even though she was talking negative about it, again, it's subconsciously to people. They're still going to go and be curious about this product, right?
You don't see the bad. I mean, you really don't. I had two little girls, not the same age as Cece and Bella, but Tori and Katie were 13 months apart. So here I could see her doing all this with her little girls. And yeah, mine were older now, but I'd like to be able to get all this stuff done. And I'd like to make all this money, but that's not what it's about either. You have to sell a lot to get anything free. And most people can't afford that kind of stuff. Hell, I couldn't afford it. I worked a lot of overtime to get it because I really thought that it would, I guess it's that less or of looking to live the lifestyle. Shanann got to stay home with her kids, she didn't have to go into work. And, they always went on these cruises and vacations. That was all paid for, whether they were or not. I don't know. I never got that far. I mean, I live in a little town. People don't have that kind of money to go and buy stuff like that. I did the patches. I didn't do the shakes. I did the patches mainly. And the duo burn. And let me tell you, they said that Chris he was wearing two patches. I really don't think he was, because it's actually two patches. You place one on each arm. It's cut like in half. It's severed in half. But yeah, I mean, I really thought at first it was really helping, but it was in my mind. I do know that because I don't feel any different being off of it.
And even if all the case aside, if you're just talking about just a salesperson in general, you don't know what happens when she turns that camera off. She's literally a sales woman, right? So she's gonna put on this show, and even if she had all these ailments, she's gonna pretend, whether it works or it doesn't work, she's just trying to sell a product. Right. So she's gonna say, like I mentioned earlier, I cleaned the house twice. I did this. I felt like Thrive is the reason why I got pregnant with Nico. And just giving credit to Thrive for all her not having to take her medication anymore. But who knows what happens when that camera turns off? She could be miserable. She could crash out immediately. And that's the whole point of being a salesperson and putting on a show. And what better way to do it on social media? And what better way to promote this entire company and their product.
Oh, and they've
by
made a lot of
leaving
money.
Shanann's Facebook account open.
Yes.
So, yeah, definitely. But I just wanted to. I'm glad that you mentioned that about you trying Thrive, because that's a point that I've been trying to make as far as why Shanann's, one of the reasons why Shanann's Facebook account was left open, besides the fact that it's to pull at heartstrings. Because how many times did you hear or see comments where people have said, I feel like I know Shanann and the girls. I feel like she's a sister to me. I feel like they're family, even though I've never met them, just by watching her videos. And she, captivated me. And I feel like I know her. I don't know how many times I've heard that or read that in comments.
Heck, I donated to the Lupus Foundation. Oh, because I have lupus, but it affected me that much,
And that's the whole point. And I'm so glad that you're bringing that up, because it's 100% the point of these operations is to really drive at people's emotions and again pull at those heartstrings. And they know, like, they're always, in my opinion, these events are also social experiments. They are constantly monitoring what triggers people, what pulls at people's emotions, what sways them, what's going to piss them off, right? So just the fact that you're just telling us that that is proof in itself to how these operations work. And that's just, and you're just one person. So imagine how many other people have been affected by that case emotionally.
Oh, like, right? I'm still like, some of the Facebook groups, I got off of a lot of them, but some of them I never get on there. So, but it'll come up once in a while, and there's always somebody, I would like to try Thrive. Can somebody tell me about it? And there's, hundreds of people in these Facebook groups. There's 20 girls saying, I sell it. I sent you a message, or, whatever. So they're still talking about it. They're still doing this.
And, there's proof that Lavelle's sales skyrocketed after the event. So, and it makes sense. Right?
And, well, yes, one of your subscribers, Pine Mountain, made a good, because I either have Nicole as a friend on Facebook, or she just pops up every now and then. I don't even know, but she says that NA is doing the exact same thing and living that life that SW did makes me sick. Everyone worships her. And you're right. That is the honest to God truth. And she's changed since then. And I'm sure if people want to say, well, she lost her best friend, but that's a whole nother
oh no, I know
story.
I know where you're going with that. You don't have to, yeah, that's a whole other thing for sure. We don't have to get into that today, but and I mean, I definitely hold back a lot of my opinions when it comes to Nicole Atkinson. And you don't have to say, I mean, I know you're just reading comments. You feel free to say any names on here. You don't have to abbreviate anything.
Okay, well,
it's a really publicized case. I mean, if you want to, feel free to abbreviate, but you don't have to. Hey, Vincina, but it's a highly publicized case. There's no reason why we can't mention these people's names. There's a reason why nobody's personal information or names were redacted from that discovery, right? If we weren't allowed to talk about them, they would have been redacted from in the beginning, right? But I again, I have a lot of opinions about Nicole Atkinson, but I stay away from that because I know what effect it's going to have on my channel and other people. Because when someone is dubbed a hero, regardless if there's inconsistencies or not, and you turn around and you say that they're not, that really triggers people. And I just right. So even though people should be asking questions and why doesn't make sense, or why certain things and what she said in her interview doesn't make sense, or all these other inconsistencies that they're finding in the case, people should be asking that, but they don't, because she's considered a victim. And then that's the mentality that people have about this whole victim bashing thing, right? Or just like with the Ruseks, it's like, how dare you say that they have some ulterior motive for all their contradiction, even though they contradict themselves all the time. And I call them out on their bullshit and their contradictions, excuse my language, all the time. Sorry, the Ruseks like really infuriate me with what they're doing or have been doing. I don't know if they're still jumping
you're
around,
always,
but
you're always, I mean, not so much here lately, but a few months ago, everybody was saying something is not right. Why will they not allow us? They're going to allow someone to, talk bad about Shanann, but nobody better bring Nicole Atkinson up, or Nicole Kessinger, I mean. You know what I'm
right.
saying? They were getting upset over stuff like that.
And even and unfortunately, yeah, but even unfortunately, like if let's say again, hypothetically, if the Watts case was 100% real, unfortunately, when you're put in the limelight, you're gonna and not only that, but when you choose to leave your daughter's Facebook account profile open for the entire world to see, you don't think that people are gonna pick at her and scrutinize her and find things wrong with her. I'm sorry, but don't leave your daughter's Facebook account open if you don't want like a ton of people um, going through all of Shanann's flaws with a fine tooth comb or whatever, or just even asking questions. They don't think that people are going to ask questions about whether she was a good mother or not a good mother, or think that she's or whatever. It doesn't matter. But when you leave your daughter's Facebook account open like that, what do they expect? But there's a reason for that, right? There's a reason why they did that. And there's a reason why they keep contradicting themselves, even though they left it open. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep, I hear you 100%.
So, but nobody questions that. Nobody says, well, why did the Ruseck, not nobody, but the majority of people, because we're questioning it, but the majority of people will just, they just see that she's a victim and that's it. And again, unfortunately, just because you're a victim, it doesn't make you perfect. It doesn't make you flawless, right? So when they contradict themselves and say, oh, you can talk about the case, no, you can't talk about the case, we've been getting death threats and we've been harassed and we've been doxxed or whatever, and we try to stay off social media, but then we're going to literally insert ourselves into social media, and not just social media, but the actual true crime community, where all people do in the true crime community is talk about the deaths of the victims. So they just makes zero sense, and the majority of people are not questioning it when they should. But instead, they're just, all they think is the Ruseks are victims. How dare you? How dare you question why they're contradicting themselves, why they treat people like shit, and other people who they have no idea what they've been through in their lives and are possibly victims, right? Because we're all victim to something at some point in our lives. And so for them to call themselves victims and then talk bad about other people in comment sections, which I have proof of that I've showed many times on my channel, it's just very hypocritical. But again, why is it that just being a victim, that means they're not they're not allowed to be, called out for it? Like that's like saying if Ted Bundy was a victim of something, but then they're like, oh, don't say that he murdered all those people because he's a victim. Like, it just, maybe that's not a good example, but that's usually the only one I could think of, at the time. But it's just, again, being a victim, it doesn't, whether you're a deceased victim or whether you're a victim of a deceased person or a family member of a deceased person, the Ruseks behavior, people should be calling them out on it, in my opinion. Again, it doesn't matter if they're victims or not. For all we know, they could be serial killers themselves, right? How do they know? All we know is what the mainstream media, the government, and law enforcement, and the Ruseks themselves have told us. It's still hearsay. Nobody knows them personally. Maybe they've, there's channel creators that have talked to them and done interviews with them. But again, we don't know them on a personal level. So anything that they could be saying could be not true, right? And so the people need to take it, the majority of people need to take it with a grain of salt, in my opinion. But they don't,
I mean,
unfortunately.
didn't they, and I don't watch them. I think I heard something a while back. Did they not shut down or try to attempt to shut down AD's channel because he wanted to get an investigation going, another investigation? But yet there was people saying other things, and they didn't say a word to them because it had nothing about opening up the investigation and investigating other people that may or may not have been involved. That's what I didn't understand, why they were so into shutting AD down, but not the other channels that, I mean, we're really not doing anything different except for he was saying other people were involved or something's not right. Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
glad you asked that because I do I do have an opinion on that as well. I have an opinion
Well,
on many things.
I want to know.
In my opinion, and I do not like to bring this channel creator up. I do not mention them by name. I don't like to give them any free publicity whatsoever. I also don't like to talk about other channels by name. I mean, if you've been following me for a while, or anybody that has, they know that I try not to bring up other channels or talk negative about them, unless I'm obviously promoting their channel in a good way. But I will call channel creators out on their bullshit, right? Like I called out that one female. Again, I know that people go, just say it, Megan, just tell us who it is. But I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out just by clues that I'm giving. But she is continuing to give or perceive that Jonathan Lee Riches that I've talked about recently, that professional internet troll as some sort of like outstanding citizen. The one that I pointed out in my live stream where he was at the front of the line at the laundry home saying, where's Gabby, he inserts himself into these tragic events, and he's there to lead people in the opposite direction, put out some truth and a whole lot of disinformation. But that specific channel creator is having this clearly. If you just look up his name, he's a professional internet troll and literally making him out to be this outstanding citizen. And with over 1,200 people in her chat, I can guarantee you that there was probably the majority of those people did not even bother to look up who this guy was or try to vet if he's even reputable or anything that he's saying. And I can't imagine that she doesn't know, but if she still, that it's still bothersome that she wouldn't vet her guests as well. But with, as far as the other channel creator goes, my whole point was just calling channel creators out on their BS. That was my point. So I didn't mean to get off track. But with the one that you're curious about the lawsuit with the Ruseks, and Jenny May, I think I lost her comment, but she said that he's a plant. I think that whole suing him thing, the Ruseks are in on it with him. It's just a show. It's to scare people like other channel creators like yourself and myself, as far as because if you think about it, he's never said anything bad, right? There's a reason. He likes to tell people what they want to hear. He likes to tell his subscribers what they want to hear, and that's not the kind of channel creator I am. I tell it like it is. But so when he says, "Oh, I'm vindicating Shanann, and I do this, and I'm saving the case, and the case is real," he's 100%, in my opinion, and like Jenny May will agree with me, Chica will agree with me, 100% a plant. He's a controlled opposition. He's there to put out some factual information about the case with a whole lot of disinformation, like all of his crazy theories, to really sway people in the opposite direction of the truth. And not only that, but to keep people interested in the case. And not only that, but he's making a lot of money doing it. So,
yeah. Did he ever get shut down like he said?
For sure. I'm sorry?
Did he ever get shut down? Because he would say, "I've got a week left or 2 weeks left." I don't ever go back and watch.
And that's a good question. He says he did, but when there's so many people, look at it this way: there's so many people that really loathe that channel creator, right? That are just gunning to take him down, right? And with all of that controversy and all the people that dislike him, and with all the disinformation that he puts out, it's, if he's still up, if his channel's still up, and there's other channel creators that can barely keep their channels up on YouTube, and they don't have half as many people that dislike them, that's a first, or that's a big red flag, in my opinion. So if they're still going strong and there's that much hate towards them, there's a reason why they're still up, right?
Yeah, I wondered.
So, but again, that's just my opinion.
Well, I am going to hop down and chat and give somebody else a chance to come up. I appreciate you having me up here, and I
Yeah,
will
of
be
course. Thanks for
listening.
coming up. I really appreciate
Thank
it. I'm
you.
so glad you did. I hope you come
Yes,
again up here.
I
Yeah.
will, definitely. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
So that was wonderful. I'm so glad that TCA came up. I know that she's been wanting to come up for a while now. So, and hopefully the sound is great. Nobody's can said anything about the sound. So that's amazing. I'm going to put the StreamYard link again in the chat. If anybody else wants to come up, I don't mind that whatsoever. Again, I do want to keep this kind of short. We're at an hour now. Yeah, TCA, of course. I hope you come up again sometime. I would love to have you on again. But if nobody else wants to come up, I will probably end this. But I do want to do I want to do these panels more often because again, I want to know. I'm sure you guys are tired of me hearing the same things over and over again. I know I probably sound like an echo chamber, but there is a reason for my madness. For repeating myself all the time. I will keep repeating myself until I can get through to as many people as possible about these cases because it's so important. If not, if I can't wake people up, that at least I can hopefully try to get them to, as cheesy as it sounds, think for themselves and literally do their own research because it's so important these days and there's so much just things can be so easily like what's the word I'm looking for, not perceived, but things are not what they always seem, right? And especially with technology and the internet and just the fact that people are just shitty in general. They don't care about who they're affecting or whose emotions they're getting to or anything like that. They're only care about themselves and the agendas. So hey, Octavia. No problem, Chica. I do want you to come up here and talk to me sometime. I would really, really like that. But yeah, so like I was saying, it's so important to ask questions because I feel like I'm in the twilight zone every single day when I come or when I go on to social media or YouTube. But like especially in the true crime community, it seems like there's just so many people that just literally believe like everything that they're told. And if you think about it, with these true crime cases, everything is hearsay. We're basing all this information that we're told on as factual when in reality it's really not. So just because law enforcement releases a 1960 page discovery about the Watts case, it doesn't make it true. And I know that might be hard to grasp for some people, but it really doesn't. Like, were you there? Are you on law enforcement? Do you know these family members? Were you a victim to this case? Like, actually involved in it? Or do you know the family members personally? Like even then, it's just so anything that the family members tell us as well. It's all hearsay. And I don't want to say I don't care about how sad they seem or if they cry in court. Like that proves nothing to me. I it's 100% all hearsay. And so the fact that the majority of people in the true crime community base all their facts or their information or from information out of the discovery or what law enforcement or the mainstream media tells us, it blows my mind because it that's funny. I just said that and Pine Mountain said it blows my mind all the time. Touche. Me too. That's funny you said that. But no, it really does though. It just boggles my mind because they literally just believe everything that they're told. And there's nothing wrong with like trusting people, but when you have channel creators, and that so many of them that are literally, you know, well, one, plants. There's several of them that are plants, like we were just talking about, but ones that are just in it for the money and know that these true crime cases bring in views, because the true crime community, it might seem small, but it is. I mean, murder happens all the time, and people are infatuated with it, right? It really does draw people in, just like the whole paranormal thing. It does. It brings in a lot of views, and especially these huge, um, high profile mainstream media cases. So, and they know that these channel creators, a lot of them know that. And by covering all these cases, that's how they're making their money, which is fine. But, um, again, you have to be able to try to figure out which ones are genuine and which channel creators are just simply in it for the money and or are disinformation agents. Yeah, exactly, chick. I don't even know where that guy came from, but he, to me, is definitely there to sway the opinions of the true crime community for sure. Yeah, exactly, Van. It's a great point. And not only that, but I guess I didn't leave your comment up very long. Not only that, but a lot of these channel creators, especially with the Chris Watts case, and I mentioned this before, they will continue to say that nothing adds up in the case, right? Nothing adds up. There's so many inconsistencies. Law enforcement is guilty of a cover up. They're keeping information from us. They're hiding information. There are so many inconsistencies. I don't know if I said that already, but so they're saying all this, but then they'll turn around and literally say, um, that they're getting all their information and all their facts from the discovery. But to me, that makes zero sense because you just got done saying that law enforcement lies about everything. So if they've lied about one video, or if you think one video is staged of Shanann coming home, then what makes you think that they're not capable of lying about more videos or staging more videos in the case that they released? Or making up information in the discovery and withholding certain information from the discovery. So it doesn't make sense to me that they would say that and then say that they're getting facts from the discovery. Yeah, I agree as well. They are definitely part of it. And again, you just have to know which ones are genuine and which ones are the plants. And it's not just in the true crime community. It's in any YouTube community. I mean, not any, but when you're talking about conspiracies and truther channels, um, you definitely have your controlled oppositions for sure. Yeah, great point, Chica. I know, and I've said this before, and I talked to Chica about this several times, that whole Watts neighborhood, it just seems so very Truman Show. Um, like she said, none of the neighbors knew them, and you have your Betty on one side and your Nate on one side, and everything's so fitting. Their statements fit just perfectly with the narrative, right? It's just too perfect sometimes and too coincidental, way too often. Again, when does it have to, or how many times does something have to be coincidental before it's or things need to happen to where it's not coincidental anymore? Sorry. Thank you, Hard Eyes, for posting my DLive link. Yeah, I haven't streamed on DLive in quite a while. I need to pick that up again. But if you're not following me on DLive, I know it's a different platform. It takes some getting used to, but I highly recommend following me over there simply because as of now, there's not as much censorship, not even close as it is on DLive. I mean, on YouTube. I don't have to walk on eggshells all the time. I can say the real words of Mandy Book. Even then, I'm still a little cautious over there just because that event is that's just such a touchy subject. But or event. But I can talk more freely about these other events that I can't on here. I can play other streamers' videos that I can't play on here, that the ones that are talking about and pointing out the symbolism of these other events and exposing them as well. So I do highly recommend or encourage you to go and follow me on DLive for sure. Wait, what? Wait. Stepdad Jim Schmidt and his attorney says Gabby was ID'd by a sweatshirt. Well, doesn't that sound familiar? Do you guys remember in the Watts case that Sandy identified Shanann and the girls over the phone? Oh, does she have brown hair and is she beautiful? Even though she was just pulled, with all due respect, even though she was just pulled out of the ground from being in there for a few days. And the officer says, "Why, yes, Sandy Watts, or wait, Sandy Watts, Sandy Rusek. She's beautiful. She has brown hair, so it must be Shanann Watts, right?" And then she says to the officer, "Oh, or they said we found an adolescent in the oil tanks, and she was wearing a pull." Or she says, "Was she wearing a pull up?" Well, yes, she was. Well, then it must be my granddaughter, right? I mean, you can't. It's that kind of. It's those things that people should really be asking questions. Like, you can't. You don't have to be in law enforcement or anything like that to know that you can't like identify a person over the phone. And especially law enforcement is not just going to take that and go, "Oh, okay. Well, if the mother and the grandmother says on the phone and if she's certain that this brunette woman that we pulled out of the ground is her daughter, then we don't even have to investigate anymore, right?" How convenient. But they know, the people that orchestrate these events, they know that the majority of people are never going to question it. And if they do, like someone like myself or anybody else that's in true crime starting to notice those inconsistencies, it doesn't matter. And they probably want us to notice these inconsistencies and send us down these rabbit holes. So all this missing information, the cherry picked information, the inconsistencies, the holes in the narrative, specifically for true crime and people on social media, they want us to notice those inconsistencies 100%. That's why the discovery is released in the first place. It's not meant to be solved. There's supposed to be only certain information that they release for a reason, right? So yeah, so Eastwater, I'm not surprised. Let's just say that. Thank you, Kelly. And I know that there's, I want to mention something else real quick before I end this. There's a few people that have said, well, a call for an uprising, that channel has the Illuminati pyramid or triangle, the all-seeing eye for his logo. He could possibly be, like disinformation, controlled opposition, or RV Truth. I know that some people have said that it's a possibility that he might be, but they very well could be. But even with Alex Jones, right? They still are putting out a lot of truth in no matter who it is, right? Any of these truther channels, they're still putting out a lot of truth, and even though I think that Alex Jones is a controlled opposition now, I didn't back then. I thought that he was all about the people and getting the truth out there. But I did, however, I learned a lot, and he did open my eyes, regardless if he was putting out disinformation, right? So you have to take everything with a grain of salt, and again, try to do your own research and just again, as cheesy as it sounds, think for yourself. I mean, it's again, it's so important. But my purpose of showing these other channel creators, these other truther channels, their videos is because I want you guys to know that I'm not the only one that is pointing out these inconsistencies in these true crime cases, as well as these other high profile, mainstream, tragic events that are literally being used to push propaganda and push multiple agendas onto the public. So, and the same goes for me. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that you guys should just believe everything that I'm saying. Like, I can only present the information that I've learned over the years to you guys, and what you want to do with that information is on you. I try to keep, I do get emotional about these cases or worked up for different reasons compared to others, but it's simply because I know that the agenda, or I know the agenda is behind it, and that's why I get pissed off and worked up about it. But I try to stay neutral because I don't want to ever sway any of my viewers' opinions, right? I definitely don't want to do that whatsoever. But it is difficult, again, and I'm not perfect. These cases infuriate me. I'm not going to lie. But then again, that's why I'm doing this. So I just really want to wake people up because it's so important, and they're not going to slow down. That's the problem. There's nothing, even if all the truther channels were able to wake up the majority of the public, there's literally nothing we can do about it, because again, with that Smith-Mundt Act, they can legally do it. And not only that, but we're funding it with no repercussions. They have no repercussions for lying to Americans. So the fact that they're not going to slow down, the more people that are awake, I'm hoping that the less likely they can pull these off, right? Or take our rights away and trick people. Literally, that's what they're doing. They're tricking us into giving up our rights and passing laws right underneath our noses with these cases and distracting us, saying, look over here at this Gabby case, at this one chick. Sorry, I shouldn't say chick. This one woman that, out of all the other ones that are murdered, it's just all over social media. It's insane, you guys. And if you take a step back and you look at these cases from a different perspective, they're gonna start making, I promise you, if you stick around with me long enough, they're gonna start making more sense. So all these unanswered questions that they leave us with these high profile cases like the Watts case, if you look at it from a different perspective and try to push your emotions aside, I guarantee you, things are gonna make so much more sense. And then once you are awake, hopefully if that happens, these cases and these events are so easy to spot. And I mentioned that earlier when TCA was on, and that they're almost, it's laughable. And I mean that with all due respect. And I can say that because I wouldn't say that if they were real, but they are. They're laughable. And the mockery is off the roof with the symbolism and just how they literally put it in plain sight. But that being said, it has been over an hour. I do appreciate everyone for being here. I really do. Thank you for having open minds and always being respectful in the chat. I have an amazing group of people, and you guys are all amazing. So thank you. Thank you to my moderators. Again, if any of you are channel creators, please put your link in the chat. You don't ever have to ask. Please just do it. TCA, you as well. Anybody else that's here. And if any of you guys, again, have any other channels that you guys recommend, I trust your judgment. Please put those links in the chat as well. And again, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to do these panels more often. I really, really enjoyed it with the Pink Dahlia Jenny the first time, and as well as TCA. Thank you so much for coming up. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.